Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the UFT esports stream, and today we'll be featuring an Overwatch Collegiate game against USC Trojans. I'm Caprixel, and I'll be one of your casters, and I'll have my co-caster introduce himself now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ender. This is my first cast here at UFT esports, and I'm super excited to be introducing this game to you guys. It seems that we're already going in a little bit earlier than expected, but just to very quickly go over some of the teams, Caprixel, would you like to introduce UFT Blue?
Yep, so here's UFT Blue, just got the standard lineup, and then Team 2 will be USC Trojans, and we'll take a look here.
Okay, we're already in the game.
Alright, looks like USC Trojans are actually running a brawl comp here with the Lucio BAP. Haven't seen this in a while, and we have actually Aspect on the match, one of the newest things in the game.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have a trade there. Dino does get a support pick, which is huge for the other team. That's a loss of speed, which is really important in the brawl comp.
Yeah. Now, Tsubasa is trying to put a little bit of pressure onto the side as the tracer, but forced out by Dino under Varsity.
Yeah, Aspect here is actually making a lot of space. Although they're not really securing any picks, this is really good pressure on the other team. Typically, yeah, brawl comps, you want to go in and you want to rush the other team, but you know, UFT Blue's doing a really good job at making some space and kind of building them out. Dino, 2 picks there onto, oh my gosh, 3 picks from UFT Blue there, and I think that's going to secure that fight.
Yeah, really great shots from Dino there, able to pick off 2 people early on in the fight. The loss of DPS, that's so much less pressure, and then the rest of UFT Blues can really just push forward and secure some kills. That's the first point taken.
Absolutely. And so we see right now there's like a very, very big difference in ult charges right now. Specifically on that Lucio, I want to see that we have Argini already like almost 70% complete, which is massive for them, so that they can protect themselves against whatever it is that USC Trojans are going to have.
That's a great main wall to block up the window, but unfortunately it's not enough, and Aspect already falls down to the window. The rest of USC is pushing forward. Jellybot gets another kill. It's traded out by Coco.
Yeah, looks like UFT will not be able to keep that point, but 50%, that's quite a lot of progress on this map already. So this is one of the newest maps, and I think this is the first time we'll be seeing it played on stream.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see what sort of dynamic people are following, what sort of team composition people are playing on such a new map such as on Carthage Peninsula. It will be UFT Blue now having some really crucial ultimates, nearly 5 ultimates online. How are they going to use this in this upcoming fight? Aspect is moving forward with the Mantra, pressuring out the Reinhardt.
Yeah, that was a huge main wall there from Coco, forcing the Reinhardt to back out of the fight here. I think UFT will be able to capture the point here. Arjuni gets a good pick onto the Tracer, and soon after, the Reinhardt just falls down, so they're going to just have to back out here.
Yeah. Aspect continues to push, didn't even have to use the ultimate. No person on UFT Blue had to use their ultimates. However, you have to ask if they're getting a little bit too far. The B is forced out.
Yep, beat goes off from both teams here. And yeah, unfortunately Aspect does fall, but they did push them far enough that they're also, you know, making them waste some ultimates as well.
Yeah, and that entire time UFT Blue had control of the point, only used that one ultimate from Lucio, and in turn forced out the other one from the opposing Lucio, and now it's back with USC in control.
Yep, and we see here, yeah, UFT still 4 ultimates online, almost 80% on to this map. We'll see how they use their ultimates to secure this fight if they can.
That's a very good window by the opposing Baptiste, just to force them off the high ground. Now UFT is forced to play on the low ground. The Mei ultimate is used, trying to force out the Reinhardt, and they do secure the kill.
Yeah, Mei ultimate was, oh wow, Dino headshot onto that ultimate with Cassidy, sorry, and they're going to be able to capture that point. Still, 2 ultimates available from UFT. That's really good ult management, but how are they going to be able to face against that Shatter and that Pulse Bomb? So Ramachos does have a shield, but it's going to take really good reaction time for him to be able to block it. And we can see Aspect here getting ready. Preemptive Deadeye there from Dino.
Tsubasa had to blink in, try to touch the point just at the last second, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to use his Pulse Bomb now. The Aspect on pushing forward with his ultimate, using the Nemesis form, and he's securing a couple of kills, and that is the end of the first round in favor of UFT Blue.
Yep, really great play there from UFT. That Ryan Shatter was not enough for the Trojans to win their fight. Aspect was all up in their backline ulting, and that secured them the win.
And I think you have to ask, what is the difference between Dino on the Cassidy and, or I should say Coco on the Mei and Tsubasa on the Tracer there? Because I feel like the Mei has so much more point presence in such a brawl composition, whereas the Tracer is kind of forced to move around the sidelines and try to poke, and it's very difficult to get a kill against such a strong backline such as Lucio and Baptiste. So we will see a switch from Tsubasa. Or maybe this is just to get out of spawn, though.
Yeah, I agree. And so we have a mirror support line this time, and it's going to be interesting to see how they use this support line in a kind of a different team composition, one with the Reinhardt and one with the Ramattra.
Yeah, and I think you also have to ask, like, is the Ramattra really slowing down the Reinhardt with his E ability? Because Reinhardt really wants to close that distance, but might not be able to. You can see it right here.
Yep, Ramattra does have that long-range primary fire too, so yeah, the poke is insane from Ramattra.
Using this Nemesis form for a little bit of point presence here, although it is USC kind of having more bodies on the points, and now Reinhardt is using that opportunity to push forward, and Bigon has already gotten a kill on Dino, like 4 versus 5 now.
Yep, good immortality there from Koodle, saving Archony, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to save the point, unless Aspect is able to get a couple picks here. That is their tank, and DPS already picked off. Everyone's falling quite low, and yeah, I think UFT turned it around pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's the UFT blue securing the point. Aspect using that Nemesis form, really smart, taking that ability that you can use to punch through shields just to finish off the low Reinhardt. Ultimate's now online for both Aspect and Koodle Noodle. We want to see how, I think this window in particular could be very advantageous to push them off of the long sight line.
Yep, I agree. And so that's a really good pick onto that Baptiste. That's most of their main healing gone. So Brian is not going to be able to come in here and try and fight this out.
That's USC forced to retreat a little bit because they cannot push this without their main healer.
Yeah, I mean, with the UFC pushing up here, they're going to capitalize on this. They get a pick on the Tracer, which is already a lot of damage gone. And you can see Ryan falling really low. And really good presence here by UFC. They're really capitalizing on their mistakes, and wow, all the way to the spawn.
All the way to the spawn doors. Although Coco did finally fall to Cassidy's magnetic grenade, and that will cause them to push back. They don't want to try to spawn camp with 4v5, but they are falling back to the point. Lots of ultimates online for both teams, actually. This is going to be a real all-out brawl. Unless that happens, Dino with a great pick straight onto the head of Tsubasa.
Yeah. I think the game changer here is going to be the Lucio piece to see which team is able to use it the most effectively.
That's a Earth Shatter by USC. Knocks a few players down and eventually focuses down Aspect. That gives him an opportunity to go back in this fight. Now that Tsubasa's already back, Pulse Bomb does not connect.
Yeah, so you have to think that was actually 3 ultimates there from USC, and they were only able to get Aspect. UFC still has 3 ultimates here that they can use, and these are 3 really important ultimates.
Wow. Okay, Dino putting a little bit of pressure on the backline, almost got the Baptiste, did manage to find the Cassidy with the magnetic grenade, but it is still a 1 fight for USC. And now it's UFT's turn to reset, try to figure out what they're going to do with this next fight. Still plenty of ultimates online. Now, USC has used more in that previous fight, so UFT has a bit of the advantage. I think this Mei Blizzard is going to be particularly important. The window used, and that forces Aspect onto the point, away from that sight line, and now he's in trouble. Great immortality field, uses that to keep him up.
Yeah, I think the Blizzard just zoned off everybody else. They're able to get a little bit of presence on that point, but you know, Tracer being made Coco with that headshot to the Baptiste. That's 2 down for USC here.
Yeah, and Aspect has once again won the tank battle, just clobbering the enemy Reinhardt. Yeah. And USC on the back foot again, 95%. Someone's got to touch the point.
And Dino does still have this Deadeye, so able to zone off, unable to finish that kill, but there it is, that last shot.
Sawa just barely manages to touch, but it is Dino cleaning up, picks 1 off, 6-2. Reinhardt does get an Earth Shatter and finds a kill onto Coco, but is that going to be enough?
Yep, RJ does pop that beat there, and that is a massive beat. I think everyone would have died if he hadn't popped that, and yeah, they get to take that first map.
Wow. Really good showing from both teams, actually. Back and forth.
Play of the game.
And we see here USC did get play of the game. Egon's Cassidy. Pretty impressive, but I don't think it's any match for our Dino.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to be heading over to map 2, and map 2, we didn't get to talk about this earlier, but it will be a hybrid map, and I think it will be the loser's pick. And from what I saw, I do think they would choose something like King's Row or something where Brawl is particularly good, because they did try and run Brawl on this map as well. We saw Jelly on the Reinhardt quite a bit. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Kings Row would probably lead more into the type of composition that USC wants to play, this brawl composition. However, I'm not super sure what all these maps are in the map pool. Maybe it's not what they want to do, because they did just lose the brawl matchup, Ryan versus Ramatra, Tracer versus May. So maybe they want to switch it up. Maybe they want to change something and see if they can surprise U of T on this next map.
Yep, that's a good take as well. And so I think, yeah, we're going to see if they don't pick a Brawl map, it's going to be interesting, because we're going to see a whole different side of USC, maybe also a whole different side of UFT. But I think it all comes down to, yeah, the map pick. I think the map picks influence the team comps quite a bit. Just as we saw in Antarctic, in my personal games, I've also seen a lot of Ramatra, a lot of Reinhardt as well. And so it's interesting to see, you know, in the competitive setting as well, teams are also playing these kinds of team comps.
Yeah, definitely. We've known from U of T's previous games. Speaking of U of T previous games, we should mention that both of these teams are up 2-0 in their in this group. So whoever is taking the win here gets to really show it to the opponent. I'm
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
sure exactly what the tournament format is for this collegiate tournament, but
I believe it is Swiss stage actually right now. So
okay.
they will be playing 2 games every week. They will have another game tomorrow night. So anyone who's watching, please tune in tomorrow to come watch and support the UFT Blue once again. And so yeah, Swiss stage, it'll be every week until March 18th.
And it turns out that you were right, Caprixel. It is going to be Kings Row that these teams are that USC has chosen for the second map. So we're probably going to see more of the same sort of intense deathball, Reinhardt probably brawl comp. So let's see if USC has any new ideas going into the second map, because it really didn't work out for the first one, I should say.
Yeah, I agree. And UFT does have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. I do know that on defense, the first point, you could definitely play kind of like a more poke comp with Sigma and snipers. So I'll be interested to see if UFT does decide to pull that out, or if they're going to stick with the the Rhine battle or the Brawl battle. The Ramatra seems to be working out really well for UFT, just because he can use his Nemesis form and punch through shields and actually get some good damage onto Reinhardt.
Yeah. So USC will be attacking first. And like you said, you can I think this first point is probably the most flexible of this map, because you can just go with Brawl, that's very strong on the entirety of the map. But also there's a lot of high ground on the first point. You can really take advantage of that with a different sort of composition. Maybe we'll see a Winston or a Doomfist, something different. See if they can switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, looks like we'll have Aspect here on the Diva. They're running kind of like a dive comp here. Dino back on the Sojourn, that is his main hero as for right now. And we have an Ana Zen actually, so that's going to be pretty lethal if they can hit those discords, hit those nades onto the enemy team.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I think the Ana Zen is actually a particularly greedy comp, because it's so offensively focused, but they don't have the sort of peel that a Lucio or a Kiriko or Moira has, so they're going to be a little bit vulnerable, I think.
Yeah, especially with that ball on the other team, they really have to be careful here.
Okay, ball has been forced out with that Discord and so much damage already. But yeah, it's the ball is really interesting here, trying to take this high ground and really force the issue on the UFT's backline.
Yeah, I agree. And so I see here we're just kind of poking back and forth. Both teams are probably trying to get takes. Both teams have the Sojourn as well. So I think it'll be a battle of the Sojourns this time.
And Vigon has already found one kill with that magnetic grenade. However, UFT is pushing back a little bit, but he finds another one. And now that's 3v5 advantage to USC. They're pressuring the point.
Yep, Aztec able to get a kill onto Tsubasa. That is a huge nade there from Kudel. And oh, Ball is asleep here. They're going to be able to capitalize onto this. It is even right now.
Points already taken. Yeah, and now Coco's finally back and uses that advantage that they now have with Tsubasa down to push this back a little bit. And now USC's backline is trapped inside Hotel. They're finished off. Sawa dead, Tsubasa dead. And it was a rough start, but UFT does manage to hold on to the point just at the last second.
Yep, and that was a really good retake there from UFT. They do have 3 ultimates compared to, I guess, kind of the 70% kind of threshold that USC has right now. That Transcendence is going to be huge for UFT here. That's going to be able to save them from a lot of sticky situations, especially with that ball. You don't want the support to die, you don't want the backline to die here. So it's going to be really important for them to use that wisely.
Yeah, and it's Ball's job to jelly bop on USC team to pressure the backline, but as soon as he does that, it's Coco and Poodle Noodle and Aztec that are pushing forward and eliminating the rest of his team.
Yeah, really good dive there from UFT. That was a really coordinated dive from Aspect and Coco. Dino being able to finish off, those last few stragglers, and Dino does have an overclock here, and Dino does have pretty nasty aim, so it's going to be pretty exciting to see him pop this and secure a couple kills if he can.
Only the nano boost used in that fight, so now UFT has a lot of offensive ultimates to use in this upcoming fight. Dino is in a perfect place to possibly use that overdrive, and there we see it now. Ball is taken out, forcing the issue onto the backline, but Dino does fall very low and he falls. Okay, now it's even 4v4 and USC has that rally. They're going to push forward with it, forces out the Diva ultimate.
Yep, Diva uses a 2 remag, and we do see a blade here from Coco if he's going to pop in this fight. Yep, there it is. The Transcendence does pop. He does fall to the enemy overclock. Those are actually all the ultimates from the enemy team, and I think they're going to take this point.
Yeah. Oh, but you see Archony has used the Transcendence trying to keep himself and Aspect alive on this point, but it's not going to be very much. They're in a 2v5 position. Dino comes back and he's instantly killed. And now it's just Aspect on this point. He is still healthy, and USC are doing everything they can to finally kill Archony. He is staying alive in that hotel. It's 2 versus 3 now on the point, and Coco falls. Aspect runs away. That is the first point gone in favor of USC.
Honestly, that was a very, very impressive stall there from UFT. Even though they weren't able to full hold that first point, that is still a lot of time taken off. That is a lot of time wasted for the other team. And so this is going to be a big advantage for the street phase, because I think the street phase is actually one of the hardest points to get across if you didn't completely steamroll the first point.
Yeah. I do want to bring attention to Jelly Bop has switched over to the Winston away from the Ball, and I think that this is a good pick because Winston can really take advantage of these closed corridors a little bit better than Ball can, and he's got the shield for himself so he can help his teammates push.
Yeah, and they did swap over to the Lucio. Not sure when, but yeah, I think they do have Lucio now, but I'm not sure how helpful this Lucio will be on this street phase, just because, Winston already has a lot of mobility himself. I think speeding around the corners is a really good thing, but also at the same time, we do have a Discord orb on that enemy Winston, and you can see him fall pretty easily there, and with only Lucio and Ana heals, I'm not sure it's going to be enough to keep him up. Dino
is finding a couple crucial kills in that fight. First, I believe it was the enemy Sojourn, and then the Winston. So now UFT has taken control of the streets phase. The cart has been pushed up to the second corner, which allows them to play in front of it a little bit. This is going to be a little bit difficult for USC, because how are they going to enter with such strong spam from the Sojourn and Junkrat? You get another kill there, Anti onto the Winston, and it's another failed push from USC.
Yeah, and you can see the Discord are doing so much already for UFT, and not to mention Diva is kind of a counter to Winston here, just because of her ability to, dish out such enormous amounts of damage at close range. And when Winston jumps on you, you just press those missiles and you fly at him, and he will die instantly because of that Discord.
It's a great sleep from Koodle Noodle. Totally shuts down the nanoed Winston. Meanwhile, the enemy Ana has also slept Aspect, and I think Archony has forced to use the Transcendence to help the tank a little bit.
Yeah, Winston does jump onto the back line, popping that primal there. We have a nano overclock here on Dino, and is he going to be able to pick up a few? Aspect does get the tank, and I think everything will fall from this point on.
Discord Orb onto the enemy Cassidy. Dino does try to force him out, but again, he's not quite able to get the kill. Despite that, UFC low in numbers, low in health, they are forced to push back, get pushed back.
Yeah, and look, they swapped off that Winston onto the D.Va, trying to match it. They
10
only have
seconds
5
on the
seconds
clock.
left. Yep.
Oh god.
And
You
yeah,
see, they're trying to reach the point, but they probably won't be able to, and that's the end of the first round. Wow. Great stuff from UFT.
Score.
yeah, absolutely. And that Zen doing so much work for UFT as well, being able to put pressure on their tank, making it really hard for him to kind of, you know, go on the back line and try and make space for his team.
All right. They've got to come up with a new game plan now here on this defense. They only can give up first point in a little bit of second, but if they can't do that, if they can't hold on to that defense, then they are out. That's it. This is just a best of 3, I should remind you guys. So second map, first one already in UFT's favor. This is match point for USC.
Ready for battle.
Yeah. It looks like they're going to be going onto the D.Va. I think they're going to try and match UFT, and this time they do have a Kiriko, so Koodle's been getting some insane nades onto USC. I think they're going to be looking to cleanse that. They're going to run Cassidy Sojourn in comparison to Coco's Junkrat and Dino's Widow.
Although I do have to ask, so Sawa has played a couple of different heroes in this game. So Brigitte, that's been able to sort of force out the enemy divers. Now Kiriko, a little bit more peel for herself, but you have to ask, like, is that going to be worse for AoE heals in the Brigitte, or worse at keeping away enemy divers? We'll have to see.
Yeah. So we see here, Dino's just trying to take that high ground, trying to find a pick here. We see a lot of space already being taken here from UFT. They've already gotten kind of to the hotel chokehold here. A couple ticks of damage onto that D.Va. We're looking at a flank here onto hotel.
Yeah, Aspect has chosen to go with the Junker Queen on this instance, and I think that's really interesting because it's another source of anti-healing alongside Fool Rule. So with such a high healing composition such as Ana plus Kiriko, having all those anti-heals is going to be so helpful, and that's UFT already taken the first point.
Yeah, and we see UFT running a Junker Queen composition here. You saw Aspect going right in with Archony. He sped her right in, and Junker Queen was able to just kind of slash and get all those shotgun shots onto the enemy team. That Kiriko wasn't enough to heal them all.
Yeah, Dino, now that Tsubasa has swapped off the Sojourn and onto the Mei is going to help them a little bit with the tank battle, but it does mean that Dino is a little bit more free to take these sight lines with no enemy long-range hit scan. Cassidy is going to be the only way that they can force her out.
Yep, we see Dino here trying to get a few picks with the enemy team before the fight starts around this corner. We have beat coming up from Arjani, and also we have the Junker Queen all over here. Cleanse goes off for the enemy team. This is a big opening for them, and yep, just as I said that, the Junker Queen all hits every single one of them, and yeah, they're going to be able to just take this for free.
Yeah, and USC, they're probably not even going to be able to come back to this point. The payload is already so close and keep getting pushed forward.
Yeah, and look at that, 4 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. Oh, and we have a pause here. Perhaps some technical difficulties.
That's
we'll
gotta feel terrible from the USC.
Yeah, and so while we wait for the pause to unpause, we're just going to talk about kind of what happened there. So yeah, UFT 4 minutes, even if they don't take this, but there's like a very small, slim chance that they don't. You know, 4 minutes is quite impressive for them to be able to push with that much time left remaining. He comes up from Arjani, and that's the point.
Okay, so it was Coco who disconnected, but he's back. and just at the right moment to finish off the point and the map in favor of U of T. Those are some
Yeah.
real quick games.
Yeah, I agree. Really good showing from UFT. That last fight, that Junker Queen ultimate was so good. Especially because that Kiriko cleanse, that came out right before the fight. UFT knew that they weren't going to be able to have it to cleanse the enemy, their own team of that ult. So
GG's in chat being exchanged. And that's it. That's the game, I should say.
yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning in for this collegiate game today. We're going to be having another one tomorrow at 7 p.m. So please be sure to tune in for that as well. Thank you so much. I'm Caprixel and your co-caster is
Endertricity. And thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for watching.